Hey everyone, I'm Panfuricus, and we're going to be talking about Gundam the Battle Master. It was a prequel to Gundam Battle Assault that never made it stateside. Gundam Battle Assault is a fighting game series by Natsume that ran from 1997 through 2004. So, cutting right to the heart of the matter, let's talk about the content of the game. The roster of Battle Master features a relatively small cast compared to later Gundam Battle Assault games, only including 10 Universal Century mecha. It's even more than that, as every mecha is piloted by a completely original character to the Battle Master universe. Until Battle Assault 1 was intended for domestic release, the series primarily featured original characters instead of canon pilots.
You got no right! Not even my own father hit me before!
I've got no more time for you. You need to do some growing up fast if you want to survive this thing.
That's it! I'm not doing it anymore! After what you've done, I'll never get in the Gundam ever again!
And well, Amuro in this case definitely didn't get into Gundam, as he's not available as a player character, but don't worry too much, because the sprite work for the actual mobile suits of the game is one of the strongest aspects, featuring vibrant detailed sprites and fluid animations throughout. Gameplay in Gundam the Battle Master differs from other fighting games in several aspects. The mecha move relatively slowly and interact rather sluggishly with each other, reflecting their enormous size. You can do damage to various aspects of the mecha, that is, then represent another sprite. The game doesn't even have a typical health bar for the mechs. Instead, your health is a set of armor bars that are depleted whenever your mech receives too much heat damage. They can be mitigated via avoiding damage for a while. Every character has two different special moves that they can use in their own form of projectile, in addition to various melee attacks. Your special attack bar is recharged by melee attacks against your opponent. Dodging is also a little bit different, with some units either fading into the background to dodge or erecting a defensive shield in order to block. But where Gundam the Battle Master really shines is a series staple that originates in this game. Massive bosses such as the Big Zam that stride across the field and take the entire screen and then some. You can really feel the scale of immensity and just the sheer size difference between yourself and your opponent when fighting against these. In later games, the Big Zam and other large mecha would end up becoming playable. One of these massive on-screen bosses that would make its on-screen debut in the form of the Psycho Gundam Mark III, which previously had no prior incarnations in games or in anime. The Psycho Gundam Mark III cuts an intimidating presence as the final boss of the single-player mode of the game. So, now that we know how the game plays, how exactly does it hold up as a fighting game? And in comparison to later Battle Assault games? Well, first what I want to talk about is the things the game does wrong, and then the things the games did right. Now, one of the main issues with Gundam the Battle Master is that some of the slower and larger mecha are just disadvantaged completely by having slower rates of fire, slower attack animations, or just having a hard time dealing with some of the faster mechs. As such, the roster in Battle Master could be considered to be far less balanced than even later Battle Assault games. While the roster is tiny, the series still feels like there's very much so in its infancy. In addition, having only UC-era mechs limits a lot of the appeal of the Battle Master compared to the mixed rosters that you'd see in the later Battle Assault games. Now, gameplay-wise, you're probably able to win a great many fights just purely by just abusing the projectile of your mecha. Given projectiles are completely unblockable, and as such, any mech with a good projectile is pretty much automatically superior. While it feels nice playing as an underdog or one of the less advantageous mecha in a competitive environment, the game would be very much so lacking. Now the final issue, and it's relatively minor, is that part of the game is still entirely in Japanese, which is pretty much just story parts. The cutscenes are in English, the credits are in English, most of the menus are in English, but you're still going to be missing out on the original story that was made for the game, so the general appeal of having original characters probably isn't as interesting if you have no idea what's going on with them. Those are what the game did wrong. What did the game do right? Well, the sprite work is phenomenal throughout the entire game, from vibrant character designs to lovingly crafted stages. One can go on for hours examining the effort that was put into making the mecha feel and look just like their on-screen counterparts. Audio design is on point, from stage music to the kind of hit effects that are heard whenever the mecha clash between one another. From good beam weapon effects to missile impacts, the audio cues are all of good quality. Really enough, the opening cutscene of the game is in English with Japanese subtitles, almost like the game was intended for US release to begin with. Now, in comparison to contemporary tie-in fighting games like Capcom's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Battle Master doesn't particularly hold up well in diversity of movesets or mechanics. Even comparison to the much later Gundam Battle Assault 2, I'd say the game doesn't particularly add anything of interest. So if you are interested in having a Gundam fighting game, I'd recommend going Gundam Battle Assault 2. Thanks again for watching the video. If you like this and like to see more retro retrospectives, make sure to stop by again when we cover another title.